This is Mr. Krabs. I bought him from the grocery store where he was going to be boiled alive and eaten. But that wasn't my plan for Mr. Krabs. Now, I could have eaten this crab by now, but instead, I decided to keep him as my pet right next to my desk. But Mr. Krabs at the moment is very weak and on his last limbs, so it's going to be a long shot whether I can actually save Mr. Krabs or not. So to get Mr. Krabs, I went to the grocery market. Most likely, these crabs are going to be eaten or boiled up for some soup. To see what condition they're in, I poked one to see if it would move. But he did not seem to move, which made me think they weren't doing very well and they were probably going to die soon. So I started picking at these crabs and one of them started running away. But when I grabbed him, I looked at his claw and realized that there was a big crack on it. So this guy was pretty banged up, but he was the one that I chose. Then I put him inside of a bag so I could buy him. Now that we have purchased our weak, injured crab, I brought it back to my truck. Okay, so I got this water from the actual tank. It's still real cold, that's very good. And we gotta find our crab. Oh my god. Okay, he's still cold, so I guess that's good. Let me try to bring him out. You can see his mouth is moving. That's the only thing I see that's moving. Okay, he looks really weak. Oh, look at that crack on his shell. Okay, he's barely moving. I'm gonna put him in the water. As I first put him in the tank, he shows little signs of strength. Ooh. But at the same time, he let out a few bubbles, but he wasn't moving that much. I think he might be missing a leg too. To see if it was a male or female, I flipped him over on his back to look. And this one is a male. You can tell because the females have a rounded bottom and the males have a sharper one. Okay, we're gonna go home as fast as we can so we can put him in the tank. We're on the road right now, there's a lot of traffic, but there he is, he's just in the back cooler, he's buckled in. It was a 30-minute drive home, but luckily he was in a cooler, so he stayed cool. We just got home, gotta go see how he's doing, my god. Oh shit. At first glance, obviously he wasn't moving, but if you look closely, you can see that he's breathing, which is a good sign, and then he started moving just a little bit. But even then, I didn't want to waste any time, so I grabbed him and brought him inside of my room. I'm gonna get a little bit of this water, put it inside this container. Alright, this water is fresh from this tank, so we're gonna acclimate him and also see how he's doing. Oh!
Let me out of this cooler. I will kill you.
Oh my god. While Mr. Krabs is acclimating in his tank, I wanted to show you guys something. If you remember our leopard gecko from the Walmart video, he now has his very own shirt. I also have shirts with more animals I've made videos on as well. Plus these t-shirts are great quality, and purchasing one would help my channel out a lot. But if you want to check them out, you can use my link in the description below. But anyways, back to the video. So as Mr. Krabs acclimates, I got this aerator to feed oxygen in his water. This will indeed help him breathe. But while he's just resting in his cooler, I scoop in the aquarium water so he can feel comfortable when he actually goes in his new home. Alright, we're gonna leave him in here for about 10 minutes or so, let him get comfortable to this water, and then we'll put him inside the tank. If you guys remember from last video, I had a bunch of squid that laid a bunch of eggs, but unfortunately, the rock crab would eat these eggs, so I have to make a cage to cover them up. For this idea, I used a bunch of egg crates and I basically made a little box. The squid eggs still need water flow, but the holes in the cage allowed a good amount of flow in. But as you can see, I don't have many hiding places in this tank. I got some rocks, and I'm just gonna plant these around the tank. And if you're wondering where our spot prawn shrimp went, well, I scooped both of them out of the tank and put them inside of a bucket. I did a lot of research on their environment in the open water, found out where they live, and drove there. And yes, I did acclimate the shrimp in this bucket for you acclimation freaks out there, Jesus. And I brought them out in the middle of the ocean where they're usually found. Then I released them back into the ocean together. Now that Mr. Krabs has been in here for about 10 minutes, I wanted to take like a real close-up to see if he was injured at all. But the first thing I saw was this decent sized crack on one of his claws. Mr. Krabs can heal this cracked shell through a process called molting, and I took a look underneath him and I saw that he has a lost leg right here. For these types of crabs, it can take up to a year to grow back. Lastly, I took a look at his back legs and I realized that this is his second leg that he's lost. Pretty unfortunate, but he can make do with what he's got. This crab has been through a lot, I'll just tell you guys that. As I poured the last remaining cupfuls on Mr. Krabs, it was about time to put him in about 5 minutes. Alright, it is now time. At this time, the acclimation has now been completed. So I lifted Mr. Krabs out of his cooler and then put him inside of the tank. But right off the bat, he didn't even do anything and he did not look look good at all. Although he did give a few little twitches and movements, he wasn't doing the best and is very, very weak. As 5 minutes went by, he did hit a little 180, and then he stopped moving. Until he started doing this. He was spazzing and tweaking out like a tweaker. So this is day 1 of him being inside of this tank, and honestly, he does look like he's gotten a bit better. You know, a little bit of movement here and there. But I wanted Mr. Krabs to settle in his new home before I feed him. These Krabs are also known to survive without eating for weeks at a time. But Mr. Krabs is definitely stressful right now, so I turned off his light. Alright guys, it's about 1 a.m. The crab has been in here for about 7 hours. Mr. Krabs hasn't moved from this one spot and it kind of worried me. Most of the movement I got was with his little mouth to signify that he's breathing. Alright, it's now time for bedtime, so good night, Mr. Krabs. Alright guys, it is now the next day at 2:12 p.m. And as you can see, Mr. Krabs is in the same exact spot. I've been watching him all morning. I mean, he is still moving, so... Alright, I'm gonna nudge him to see if I can get any reaction to see what state he's in. As you can see, he was still decently aware, which is okay, but nowhere where I want him to be yet. So Mr. Krabs right now is definitely very weak, and I know he's pretty hungry, which I'm going to feed him in a second. Guys, I just caught him adjusting. Look at this. I think he's about to bury himself in the sand. This is a normal behavior that they usually do, and they do this to hide from predators. But you can definitely tell that he gave an effort to bury himself, and then he pretty much gave out and stopped moving. Mr. Krabs' behavior right now is definitely leaving me worried, so I did a little bit of research. I first noticed that Mr. Krabs' shell was kinda pale. Compared to other crabs, his shell should be way darker than this. So I looked it up on Google and this is what it said. Apparently, Mr. Krabs is molting or he's just really hungry. Apparently, when crabs are molting, they don't really move much to conserve energy for when they molt. So I assume that molting is something that he could be doing, but he also came from the grocery market and got all banged up in there, so that's also probably why he's like that. So since Mr. Krabs hasn't eaten in a very long time, I got this piece of anchovy and I'm gonna see if Mr. Krabs will have any interest in eating. Going in. Now at this time, I don't think Mr. Krabs realized that there was food in front of him, but as the scent of the anchovy lingered, I think he got a little hint. Ooh! Oh my god! Jesus! Oh my god! Here, Mr. Krabs, just take it. I'll put it in your claw. Oh my god. And at last, this was probably his first meal in weeks. He just snatched that, and of course he's eating it behind a rock where I can't see. Mr. Krabs showing all the excitement and actually finally eating, this definitely releases a lot of stress off of my chest. Guys, I just put that piece of fish in and look how many snails there are. So since Mr. Krabs just absolutely annihilated that piece of anchovy, I got 2 more pieces. Number 2. And right off the bat, you can see how excited Mr. Krabs was to see a piece of fish to eat. Alright, so the anchovy he just ate and just left a bunch of particles in the water, but luckily for these snails, they'll clean all that up. After this meal, I let him chill out for the rest of the day so he can get some rest. Alright guys, so it's the next day and take a look at Mr. Krabs. He seems to be doing very good today and a lot more active than usual. This was kind of the first time I've seen Mr. Krabs like roam around and walk, but basically he just went to the end of the tank and back.
I see you. Don't be all slick now, boy. I will pinch your wang when you sleep, retard.
But most of the time I see him, he's just staying put and not really moving. And because of that, I'm still assuming that he's going to molt pretty soon, and at the same time, his shell is still pretty pale. Throughout the next few days, I didn't really do much besides watch him and feed him. I assume being in those crab pens really messed him up, but the goal here is to get him back on his feet. These crabs really love to be in intertidal zones all the way up to 300 feet deep. But until Mr. Krabs can regain his health and maybe molt if that's the case, he's gonna be resting in here healing until he's strong enough to get released back in his habitat. And also, don't forget to check out the new merch that I have. All these designs are from animals that we've done on our YouTube channel, so be sure to check them all out.